if you have addiction problems, anxiety, it can all be fixed in a matter of hours. You just have to change your thinking. That's it.
Welcome to Apartment Syndication Made Easy podcast, where we simplify the world of syndication. Join us as we unravel the complexities and provide you with valuable insights to help you invest smartly. Get ready to take your investments to the next level, one episode at a time. Here's your host, Mr. Vinney Smiles Chopra.
Hi guys, this is Vinney Chopra with Apartment Syndication Made Easy. I've got a great guest. Brad is here in the house. Actually, I'm on the West Coast near San Francisco, but Brad's there in Virginia. I'm so glad to have you, Brad. And we were just reminiscing, about my going to George Washington University, you going over there. You've done so well. Could you kind of share with the audience a little bit how you got started? And you're doing so well right now. Amazing.
Sure. So 20 years ago, an investor bought my neighbor's house, and I went and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, I buy houses below market and fix them up. So I decided at that point in time I was going to start buying houses, and it took me 8 long months to find my first house. I quit my job in October of 2003, and my wife at the time was like, are you crazy? We have a newborn son. I was like, it's going to be fine. And here we are 20 years later. We're not still married, but everything's fine. We've done 4,000 houses. And now that company runs without my involvement for the most part. I work about an hour a week, and I spend all of my time I'm a happiness coach. So I help people find freedom and happiness by reversing childhood programming.
Hold on. That is very, very particular in my mind, because mindset, positivity, abundance and everything. Actually, I had a good friend of mine, Anil Gupta, as the love coach or something about relationships. So tell me more. So what you're saying is we carry this baggage when we are children, and that really puts us dampers in our successes, isn't it? Here with your superpower,
it's not even dampers in success. It's everything. It's relationships. It's your health. It's if you're obese, if you drink too much, smoke too much, if you've got anxiety, depression, everything can be tied back to the way you think. And the way you think is flawed based on childhood experiences where your needs weren't met. And you develop these meanings around those things that happen to you. They're generally untrue. And you live with those for the rest of your life until you do the work.
Oh my gosh, that is so true, so true. So let me ask you a question again. I just took my things out because usually it just comes as my background. But let me ask then, you still are into real estate or no?
Yeah, the company. So I work an hour a week. I show up to a manager's meeting every. It was today at 9:30 in the morning for 1 hour. That's all I do.
I love it. Same thing with me too. Like went from $7 in my pocket to billion two portfolio. And now we have sold, I did 40 funds and syndications, and we have sold majority. We have just maybe 300 million left, but the different companies manage them. So we manage the managers, like we say, right? So that's probably what you're doing also, very little. You're putting into practice 4-hour week. You're putting into practice 10x. You're putting into practice. I know the other book I was reading, somebody introduced me 12, what is it? 12-week calendar, I think, is the book that I've been promoting. But share your superpowers. Yeah, how you are able to accomplish so much. You must have systems. You must have KPIs that you look at. Share to give our audience some, how you are able to work one hour a week.
Yeah, so I work 1 hour a week in the real estate business, and I probably work like 30 or 40 in the happiness coaching business. But how was I able to build the real estate company? One of the first books I ever read was called E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And it was a book that talks about the entrepreneurial myth. Most people, like a barber's a good barber, and he's like, well, I'm going to start a barbershop. Well, he might be a good barber, but he's maybe not so good at a businessman. And then all
Yep.
he does is he gets himself a job where he's working more hours and getting paid less. So the whole point of
Yes.
the book is you've got to create really good systems. And then you've got to get
Hmm.
people that can manage and run those systems. So from very early on, I was big on creating systems and
I
big
love
on
it.
finding the right people. But I've got to tell you,
Hmm.
Vinny, for until my transformation, I a lot of times attracted the wrong person because I had this sense of unworthiness. So if I
Yeah.
met someone and I thought that they could make me wealthy, because if I could become wealthy, my subconscious mind said you can become worthy. If I could do that,
Ah.
so I overlooked people that I shouldn't have hired. And now I
Hmm.
don't do that anymore. And now we've got this fabulous team that works for me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you a question then. Happiness factor, right? I was just watching some video, which I do every morning, miracle morning, to look at some positive things happening and gratitude and everything. Denmark and Finland being, the people are very happy there. So, have you studied, like, in what states in USA the happiness is more than other states, and what demographics, and then also how is it related to the net worth of families and things like that?
So yeah, I haven't done a ton of research in this, but I will tell you that I know that a study was done during COVID where 86% of Americans identified as not being, quote, very happy. 86%. I do know that in the blue zones, there seems to be a lot of happy people. There's a few, I don't even know how many blue zones, but there's blue zones around the country.
Yeah.
In terms of income, I've always heard that the studies say that once you make about $80,000 a year, and your
Hmm.
needs are met, it doesn't matter if you make, from there, it doesn't matter if you make 85,000, 800,000, or 8 million, that money doesn't change. And we know this
Wow.
now. I'm sure you know this. I thought
Yeah.
money would bring me happiness and worthiness my whole
Yes.
life. And then I made a bunch of money and I was like, wait, I'm still not feeling happy and worthy.
Mm.
If you think money brings you happiness, it's just not correct.
It's
Happiness
not
actually
correct.
brings you money. If you look at Michael Jackson and Prince and Matthew Perry from Friends and all these guys who have taken their lives through the use of drugs and alcohol, those men and women had tons and tons and tons of money.
Yeah.
They weren't happy, they weren't fulfilled. And why weren't they fulfilled and why weren't they happy, Vinny? It's one thing. It's the same thing that I'm going to talk about over and over and over again. It's because of the thoughts that they had in their head that were formed in childhood, and their brain was
Yes.
doing exactly what it should have done to get them through a stressful time. But what they never realized is that they could turn those thoughts around. There's such thing as neuroplasticity. In the last 20 years,
Hmm.
they have now the medical community and neuroscientists have proof that you can literally take out neural pathways and neurons in your brain and replace them with these not positive, the true thoughts that you are enough.
Hmm. I love it. You said you are enough. Oh my gosh, you have dropped so many great nuggets over there because see, the thing is, a lot of time, people also, and myself included, of course, you have to work on it where you don't live in the past. You don't look at all the negatives and all the problems that we went through. Of course, my childhood was, six people living plus mom and dad, eight people living in one bedroom apartment, right? 382 square feet apartment. And
Where?
that in India, in New Delhi, India, that's how my growth was and everything. But I think as we develop, as we get bigger and bigger, I mean, let's say older, I say younger. I'm 72. I'll be 72 this August. But I'm looking at, okay, you know what? 72 is just a merely number. Thinking can be at 42, at 32, wherever you want it to be. And you can make decisions of your life with so much happening, which is happening. You're enough. That he just said, you know just be happy where you are. And looking back at my life, I feel like I was happy then as a little boy. I was happy at that junction when I came to USA, with $7 in my pocket. I was happy then. I think, I just wanted to see what I can do here in the land of opportunity. So happiness, how would you say to somebody who is very unhappy, who is always going to negative thoughts, who is always saying, I'm not enough?
So Vinny, you said like just be happy. Just stay in the present moment. What trauma takes you out of the present moment? It keeps you in the past, like you said, but you
Mhm.
can't just tell somebody. I mean, look at the Tony Robbins of the world or the Zig
Yeah.
Ziglars. You go to these, and I love those guys, and no just
Mhm.
disrespect, love them. You go to these conferences and you come back and you're like all psyched up, and then a day later you're looking around like, wait,
Yes.
nothing has changed, right?
Mhm.
Because when you have these deeply buried subconscious beliefs, they're called the implicit memory. You have implicit and explicit. Explicit is I can remember when my dad took me to this golf tournament.
Mhm.
Implicit is I can't remember, but when he hit me with a belt, I had these meanings about not being good enough. So I would
Yeah.
say to someone who is unhappy that talked negatively to themselves and said I'm not enough is if you want to heal that, you've got to go back to the source of when it started because guess what? You weren't born that way.
Yeah.
Something in your childhood led you there. And so we need to go back and figure out when were those times? What did you tell yourself? And then through neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying you can change the neurons in your brain, we just
Mhm.
we train your brain to think differently so that you can act radically different and then your life will change and you will find happiness. It really is a it really is a simple process, but not many people do it and you know this. Western
Yes.
medicine, what does Western medicine like to do? They like to diagnose you, label you, and then put you on drugs. Do you know that 33% of Americans are on an anti-anxiety or antidepressant drug? And
Oh,
70% of Americans are on some type of prescription medication? That is insane.
insane. It really is. Oh my gosh. These numbers, daunting numbers, daunting numbers. And with the grace of God, I know you are very healthy. I'm healthy. I never have taken even Tylenol, maybe one time in 20 years. But I think it's again how we look at life, how we behave, what kind of mindset we have, and how we don't blame other people. I mean, the only person to be blamed is us, even if we have baggage from the back to change. And like you said, neuroplastic. I love this word. I'm going to research it even more.
Yeah.
you know, because I totally believe that we can really train our mind, our circumstances, our body to whatever we want it to do. But that's very interesting, what topic you're talking about.
So
So,
Vinny,
so, go ahead.
before I made my transformation 3 years ago, I was a
Hmm.
fairly optimistic person.
Hmm.
I didn't blame anybody.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was one of these people that was I was in an invisible prison that I put myself in. And I didn't even
Yes.
know it. I didn't even know it. So someone is listening to this saying, well, that's not me. So I developed this self-love quiz. It's 12 questions and it literally will take you 3 minutes at bradchandler.com/quiz.
Please.
Take that
Yeah.
quiz because if I would have taken that quiz 5 years ago, I'd have been like, oh my gosh, there is something that I need to work on. Because if you take that quiz, you're going to either score one of three things: extreme self love. And if you do, I bet your life is really, really good. You're going to score
Yeah.
mild self love, or you're going to score lack of self love. If you score mild self love or lack of self love, I can promise you that every area of your life is being impacted negatively to some degree. Don't look at that and be like, oh, woe is me, this sucks. No, look at it just the opposite. Look at it that, oh my gosh, I can change my life profoundly,
Yeah.
like Brad did, and like so many other thousand people. If you want to get out of prison, though, you got to know one thing. You got to know that you're in there. That's the first thing. A lot of people don't realize they're in prison. Then you've got other people that know they're in prison and they lead a miserable life, but they are like, I've tried it before. I'm stuck here. And I'm here to tell you, no, you aren't stuck, no matter what you're going through right now. If you're close to suicide, if you have addiction problems, anxiety, it can all be fixed in a matter of hours. You just have to change your thinking. That's it.
Wow, I love it. I love it. This is so profound, so great. Dear friends, this is Vinney Chopra. I hope you really like all the episodes. We are putting them out so that your business can grow. If you're a accredited investor, please go ahead and reach myself and my team. We have lots of good deals going
506C for accredited investors. And also, if you want to learn what I've been doing in hospitality and also in assisted living, reach out to us also. You can learn, you can do what I'm doing even better than me. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
I know everybody, hey guys, if you're really getting something out of it, I would really like you to go to that website, like you just said, Brad, and take that quiz because it's worth it. And we'll put that link in the show notes also, everything. Because see, the thing is, life is short. I just say that on dinosaur year timeline, we are not even there. We are a dot, just a dot. So we need to live our life to the fullest with no fear, being bold. We are just saying a lot of things bold this time because I do 4 shows a week. And the key thing is crush2024.com. I hope you go there, crush2024.com, because we are talking to people like Brad, who are giving their superpowers to change and make us more productive and be better person, mentally, physically, everything, right? Emotionally. Go ahead. So
You
please.
can make, talking about crushing 2024, make 2024 your best year ever.
Yes.
If you want it to be your best year ever, you can control it. It has nothing to do with the president. It has nothing to do with the economy. It has nothing to do with the weather. You have control over whether this is the best year of your life. 2024 is going to be the best year of my life, and 2023 was really freaking good.
I love it. I totally love it. Love it. Brad, it's such a pleasure to have you. And, maybe we will love to bring you also, if I may, let me talk to my partner, Bo, and we would love to do another segment or maybe even do this segment and cut it out and then even present it in our Crush 2024. We've been dropping these gold nuggets every day to all the people in social media and everything, and that will get even more exposure for you. I would love that
Oh, that'd
because
be
you have,
awesome.
and you're doing so great in helping people, and that's what it's all about. Because our past should not dictate, we should only learn from it and just make those changes. And like you said, this new plastic, you got me going there, brother. I'm just thinking I need to read up more on it and then even talk about it more in my abundance mindset show that I do every Thursday morning live while I do exercise, my mentoring the youth show, which I do on Wednesdays. We are starting a Tuesday show, Desi Money show, which is in the Indian community and Pakistani community, and then Vinney and Bo show, and then my podcast. So,
Whoa, you're a
Vinny's
busy
got
man.
and my 3 books on national level, and then my 4th one on hospitality investing made easy in hotels and all, which is I do day in day out. And senior assisted living, my book is being launched next month. So thank you. No, it's such a pleasure. How can people reach you? You have added so
I mean,
much. Yeah.
take the first step that could literally change your life in ways that you can't imagine. Go just get by gaining awareness. So go to bradchandler.com
Yeah.
forward slash quiz and take the quiz
Quiz.
and just see where you
Yeah.
stand. And then I'll send you
Yeah.
some emails. I'll follow up. If I can help you, I'm here to help you. If I can
I
refer you to
love it.
someone, I'm just here to make an impact. I want to give back the gift that I gave.
Yeah.
I want to give back the gift that I was given 3 years ago because my life has changed so profoundly in every
Mm.
way. My relationship, my health, my business, my kids, everything is just amazing. And
Wow.
you deserve to have that too.
Totally, totally. Each one of us,
Yes.
especially the CEOs, the entrepreneurs, the solopreneurs who are my followers, and everybody who wants to grow personally. I always say that it's an investment in us. Today, only I was listening to somebody who spent 75,000 to 100,000 per year in personal development. This is mind boggling, which is great because it's 10 times, 20 times that we get back, and so forth. So I would highly recommend everybody to please do that quiz and let's hook up and, with Brad and me and, positivity so that your life can change. I
And
know
Vinny,
we can. Yeah. Thank you, Brad. Go ahead.
I have a podcast called How to Be Happier for Entrepreneurs. And
Ah,
on my show yesterday was a former client. And
Oh,
he came to me not with money issues. He was doing very well. He came to me
mhm.
because his mind was racing and he had overwhelm and he had a child that was misbehaving a lot. He told me,
Yeah,
he was like, I wasn't sure I wanted to make the financial investment because as a business person, I'm always looking at what's the return. And I was like, I
yeah,
don't know if I was going to get the return. He goes, Brad, do you know that since working with you 6 months ago, my income has doubled? And
yeah.
I was like, tell me why you think that is. He
Mm,
says, I'm a lot more calmer. I'm actually working
mhm.
less. My head is
Yes.
clearer. I've got a better relationship with my wife. I'm taking care of myself. My son isn't misbehaving as much. How? All from exactly what we've just been talking about. We went back to his childhood that he thought was amazing, which
Yeah.
wasn't quite amazing because there were some things in it. And those things that happened to him had him form these meanings and belief that were controlling his life. And all we did was go back and make him aware, and then
Mhm.
change it through this neuroplasticity of he just listens to a recording for 30 days, 60 days as you're going to sleep. And literally it changes your brain in a good way.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. This is very impactful. No, thank you so much, Brad, from the bottom of my heart, really coming on my show and love to come on your show. It's not, because I've been teaching everybody passive incomes and all those streams of incomes, which you have done very nicely, and the key thing is that we want to be more calmer as we get younger and younger and younger. I'm 72. I'll be 72 in August, but I just feel like I want to be, really taking care of my body, soul, mind, everything. Mind is everything. And thank you for really impacting a lot of people through this broadcast and all the reels you'll be making and everything. God bless you, and we'll be in touch.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.